Agree with Alan Greenspan, we ought to just eliminate the debt ceiling. Oh, absolutely, we do.
The ability of almost every working American to access more credit than they should have been able to masked the underlying fact that lower and middle class incomes were not rising.
That's not a tenable strategy. Isn't now the time to eliminate it? Oh, it would have been time a long time ago to eliminate it.
Let's put aside terrorism. Let's talk only about our own homegrown animals that are patrolling America right now. So it goes down to the simplest thing. Be prepared, be vigilant.
There's a moon out tonight.
Oh, do we have a dark moon tonight? We have ourselves a dark moon arising. We have ourselves a filthy, dark, putrid moon rising over Washington, D.C. tonight. I will tell you that much. In fact, I'd like to tell you a horror story. Since we are on Halloween here, we're actually in Devil's Night as I record this. On Devil's Night, I want to tell you a horror story about an administration that once came to power in a great country known as America. And it came to be on a grassroots movement that received more $10 donations than any other electorate in history. And it came to be that this great leader, who we all thought would change the world and would change America for the better, and change was such a part of his ego that he even put onto the little slogan itself. So this leader crept into power. And within days, he began to lie about lobbyists, about not using lobbyists. Now I'm using lobbyists. I'm going to close Guantanamo. I'm not going to close Guantanamo. And before long, he pulled out a wicked sword, a wicked blade, like nothing you'd ever seen. He pulled this blade out, and he sliced America right in half. He chopped America in half. He sliced it into tiny pieces with this bloody blade that he pulled from a sheath that had been hidden under his long dark coat and behind his big wide smile and his booming voice. And this creature, as the wolves howl in the background, this creature would terrorize us for years to come. In our darkest moment, he would divide the nation like it hadn't been in my entire lifetime. As though he was derived from the swamps, as though he were the swamp monster himself. The werewolf, the vampire, all combined into one heinous beast. And the corruption that followed was unlike anything we've ever seen. And on this Halloween night, whatever you do, please don't say his name 3 times in the mirror. If you dare, go into your bathroom, and if you say his name 3 times in the mirror in the dark, then he will be president for 4 more years. I had a little fun with that. I had some fun with that. That's a good time. I get the Eagles on right now, to be honest with you. And they're beating the Dallas Cowboys, and it's about as good as it gets for me. Not long ago, maybe a couple weeks at max, we had one of Hillary's wonderful people. One of Hillary's wonderful people were pleading the fifth in the whole email scandal, if you remember. And I said unto you, the I Am Liberty audience, I said to you guys, I don't want to plead the fifth presidency. Right? I don't want to plead the fifth president. That's not what I want. I can't trust that. I don't want that. There's nothing there that appeals to me. And I said, that's what you're going to get with Hillary. I said it just plain as day. So I guess I shouldn't have been really surprised to see that Attorney General Lynch has decided that she's going to pretty much not comply with an investigation by leading members of Congress about the Obama administration's secret efforts to send Iran the $1.7 billion that they sent them in cash. People are saying that she is quote-unquote pleading the fifth, and I'll go right there with it. She has declined to comply with the investigation. So I don't understand this. This is, I thought we had it bad with the first guy. What was his name? Who was the first Attorney General? The racist, white person hating man. What was his name? Oh, he hated white people so much it was unbelievable. I can't remember his name. Attorney General. I can't remember. He was terrifying. I thought it couldn't get any worse. I thought there was no way it could get worse. I'm just drawing a blank on his name now. I can't even think of it. I don't have a live chat room to tell me who it is either. Usually I fall back on those guys. They're like my Google. Attorney General Goomba. Eric Holder. That's his name. Just came to me. It's good to do. That's a good brain exercise, to dig in, to put the phone away and just dig into your mental capacity and find the answer you're looking for. People had to do that all the time before. Now we don't have to do it. We just pull the phone out. But Eric Holder was a vicious racist. There's no getting around it. He was a vicious racist who lived so much in his ideals that he believed he was just in his racism. And that's just what I saw when I gave the guy a once-over and listened to him talk. But now we wake up. Stories posted here October 28th, 2016, 11:22 a.m. to find out that Attorney General Loretta Lynch, another shining example of what Barack Obama has done to our country, another shining example of the administration and how just it's the most criminal enterprise in existence. And Hillary's presidency will just be an arm of the same thing. It'll just be an arm of the exact same thing. I promise you this. You can see it already. 650,000 new emails. Weiner strikes one more time, as if he hasn't ruined Huma's life enough. He strikes one last time. The final blow. Democrat, he's the greatest weapon the Republicans ever could want. So we all knew the $1.7 billion in cash deal was a massacre, right? There were some people who said it had something to do with a ransom for our soldiers. And to be honest, with the weakness that has been perpetuated by Obama, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised. It says prompting accusations that Lynch has pleaded the Fifth Amendment to avoid incriminating herself over these payments, according to lawmakers and communications exclusively obtained by the Washington Free Beacon. In an October 24th response, Assistant Attorney General Peter Kadzik responded on Lynch's behalf, refusing to answer the questions and informing the lawmakers that they are barred from publicly disclosing any details about the cash payment, which was bound up in a ransom deal aimed at freeing several American hostages from Iran. The response from the Attorney General's office is unacceptable, says the writer here at the Free Beacon. It's like something out of a Casino. You remember the movie with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci? That's what it reminds me of. It's like something out of My Cousin Vinny. I've never seen... You will never see it again either. I really feel like we'll never see this again. This is a once-in-a-lifetime situation where we're watching the mafia in power. That's what we're watching. We're watching the Cosa Nostra at the helm, doing whatever they want, whenever they want, breaking the law with impunity, though. You know what I mean? See, at least there was the FBI when it was the real mafia riding roughshod over the American people. Now the government is doing it, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. As the United States Chief Law Enforcement offered is outrageous that you would essentially plead the Fifth and refuse to respond to inquiries, they stated. The actions of your department come at a time when Iran continues to hold American hostages and unjustly sentence them to prison. The lawmakers included a copy of their previous 13 questions and are requesting that Lynch provide answers by November 4th. When asked about Lynch's efforts to avoid answering the questions about the cash payment, Pompeo told the Free Beacon that the Obama administration has blocked Congress at every turn as lawmakers attempt to investigate the payments to Iran. So what was it all about? You know what I mean? What was it all about? That's the question. That's what everybody wants to know. What is this relationship? Does it have something to do with Valerie Jarrett? What is this relationship? What is this secrecy? I don't worry about it. I really don't. Every Obama administration official and department involved in the Iran deal appear to be running for cover. Like we feared, the Iran deal is turning out to be a disaster, and Iran is emboldened in its aggression. Naturally, we all knew that was coming. We all knew he pulled a Neville Chamberlain. We all knew he came back from Germany and said that there'll never be war with Europe. We knew it was a repeat of history. But so many people thought the great peace-loving leader who's been in more wars than any president in how long? You knew what he'd done. We knew exactly what he had done. And it was terrifying to watch. It was absolutely terrifying to watch. Oh, God, it looks like... I'm sorry, I had to take a break to see the game. Listen, I'm not big into football very often, but Eagles-Dallas is a big deal to me, so I apologize. I'm up late, getting a podcast in for you. This really is the story. This is the story for me. For me, this is the story. The book's out Wednesday. The only other story is we've had our biggest month yet, thanks to you. We have had our biggest month in I Am Liberty yet, an explosive month, okay, where I just am so proud of this thing. I've seen social media explosions. I've seen downloads up, 50% almost. It's a big deal, okay? It's a very big deal to me. It's not an easy thing to do this in a market that is so crowded and busted. You know, it's bursting at the seams with competition. So, to be making headway because of you, because of the listeners who are listening and enjoying the show on a regular basis and are showing friends and are showing colleagues and are showing people, look, this guy's name's James Walton. He does a show called I Am Liberty. You need to check it out. And people are biting, they're sinking their teeth in, and they're getting hooked. Some of it's a testament to yours truly, but a lot of it is a testament to you folks, and I thank you. Okay? Now get out there and buy the book. I'm going to tell you a little story about me and a few real Americans that I co-mingled with during a little trick-or-treating extravaganza. You know, there's no doubt that this president and this administration made a conscious effort, to divide this nation. There is no doubt in my mind. Whether through policies, whether through principles, whether through old hatreds. They wanted to poke the finger, right? They wanted to poke the finger at so many people all their life, and they finally got on thrones and figured that they could do it. They could get away with it. And I want to tell you a story about Halloween and children and Americans together in a community where things just fell together perfectly. And I'm going to tell you that story right after this. The night is young, but it has aged me. The night is young, but man, it makes me feel old. I will tell you that much. I'm coming from a Halloween excursion with neighbors I never knew I had in a place I've never been. But like so many times when I get out in public, when I get out in the real world, when I get out in places that make me a tad uncomfortable around people I don't know, I am always, especially in Virginia, I will say that, this carries further in the South and in the North, but I always feel like I'm amongst neighbors. And today we were amongst neighbors, and we were amongst people who were, there was something even more welcoming about them. You know, there was something even more welcoming. There's something comfortably conservative about the majority of them. We had a little, you know, it was a personal Halloween situation for the kids. No need to go into any detail, but it put me in a neighborhood in which I'd never been before, and again, surrounded by people I didn't know, and I'm just always pleasantly surprised with Americans. That's all. I'm just always pleasantly surprised, you know? It's one of those things where I have trouble believing it's as bad as we think. I think the bad parts, I think it's sort of like the severity of the terror, right? The horrible parts are so severe. I have trouble, though. There are so many great Americans out there. There really are. There are so many people out there just like you and me. Or not even just like you and me, but there are so many Americans out there that, you know what they do? They get up every day, they go to work, they work hard, and they put their kids through college or whatever their dream is. You know, they do whatever they need to do for their children to get them off onto the right footing. And what we don't realize is that this is really the silent majority. It's the people who are doing the right thing. And I've talked about people doing the right thing on this show many times. But that is the true silent majority, right? That's the reason the nation works. That's the reason welfare works. That's the reason entitlement programs work, is because there is a silent majority who gets up, goes to work, teaches their kids the right thing. And the problem with that is we get wrapped up in the minority. Right? The minority speaks so loudly because their atrocities are such that, you know, the sound is deafening, and it blocks out the people who are doing the quiet work. I call it the quiet work because you pass them every day on the road. Nobody knows how to drive, man. Nobody can fucking drive. You hear that all the time from people. People are crazy. Well, if nobody could drive, can you imagine what the roads would really be like? The vast majority of people can drive. It only takes a few idiots to turn you into that guy, right? To start saying stuff like that. Now, it's the same in life. You walk by how many people a day, right? And you run into 4 people or 2 people a day that are complete morons, that have no manners, that aren't teaching their kids, that are doing a terrible job at life. And we get this pessimistic idea that there are not great Americans out there. It's just not the case. It's not the case, right? The case is that there's a silent majority out there buzzing along like honeybees every day, working to be better, working to better their children, working to, you know, achieve their goals. I've got news for you. This election is going to go a lot different than a lot of people think. That's my estimate. I'm hearing things from people who I never thought I'd hear them from. I'm hearing a lot of things about Trump from a lot of people. A lot of people who I suspected to be voting for Hillary. Let me put it that way. And that doesn't mean that just because Trump gets in office that everything turns around and everything's great and everything's hunky-dory. But being around those folks tonight, right? I had my son, my oldest son, with me, dressed up. They treated him as though he was their own. You know, there was nothing. You know, there's mixed races there. There was just no stink in the air. It was a gathering of American neighbors. That's what it was. It was a gathering of American neighbors with smiles on their faces and beers in their hands and kids at their feet. And the kids ran, you know, innocently. The kids ran innocently amongst one another, intertwined, in and out, having a ball. And what the beautiful part was not the children, because we know that the children are blind to the hatred to a certain age anyway. Their minds aren't poisoned. What the beautiful thing was that the parents were intertwined in conversation as well. People who didn't know people. People just meeting people. People first getting together. And to see the Americans commingle, right? In the way that this nation was meant to be. That's the photograph that I took in my head today, was what America is. What America is and what America is supposed to be is what I watched tonight, and it's those moments that I'll remember forever in life.